That he'll return to the DRC when he was in South Africa about 2 months ago. Former South African President Mbeki met with him at the time and says he hasn't spoken with Kabila since the latest developments. However, there's a possibility that Mbeki may very well get a briefing from the former president.
No, I've not spoken to him since he left South Africa. I'm sure I will be able to speak to him at some point. But the problem, Sophie, is that the government in Kinshasa, like many others, including Joseph Kabila's government, the government in Kinshasa, I don't think has properly understood the Congo.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Africa TV Network. I'm BM Blaise Mukenge. Today is a pleasure for me to host you on his English podcast when I'm going to try to go through what Mbeki said. He sent shocking waves throughout the African continent. A lot of friends of mine from all over the world, they wanted to know, Blaise, what you take in what Mbeki is saying. Is there any truth in what allegation the president of South Africa is saying that for instance, Tshisekedi himself is surrounding himself with people only from Kasai? I'll go line by line to try to bring you the facts to know what's going on for sure, because right now the masks are falling down, folks. In the heart of the African continent, a hidden alliance is working in the darkness, in the shadows. Old president, old network, and one clear mission: to keep the Congo in the dark. But the truth always find a way, no matter how long it stays. Let's dive down and understand what President Mbeki is alleging.
Its challenges, and therefore provide the right solutions. You know, when Patrice Lumumba led the liberation struggle for the liberation of the Congo, they had a view about this is the colonial Congo that we are inheriting from the Belgians. This is the new Congo that we want. And a very important element of that was to say we must unite the Congolese people. That was part of the Lumumba's revolution. Whatever the Belgian colonialists had done to divide the Congolese people, we as these Congolese revolutionaries must unite.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mbeki is trying his best to try to portray himself as the guy who's composed, you know what's going on. But we understand quickly that President Mbeki has been brainwashed. They're sticking something in the mouth to say, which does not check. If we check all the facts, you understand whatever Mbeki is saying is coming from this guy, that guy over here, this side. Okay, my bad. All the fact, dears, is about the mining rights in the Congo. I have one video clip when Mbeki is accusing Tshisekedi of surrounding himself with people from Kasai. Let me play it. Okay, I think I found it. Let's listen to Mbeki. Let's listen to what a former president is saying about the Tshisekedi and what he's saying about the Congo. Then I come back to tell you, is any of that truth or not? Let's go. Let's listen.
Saying to me, President, what you should need to know is that the M23 has in fact become the most popular organization throughout the Congo, because, as I was saying just now, the president is surrounding himself with the people of Kasai. Okay. Which means
what President Mbeki is alleging is that Tshisekedi is surrounding himself with people from Kasai, which means all the people are against him. It's something they put him in the mouth to say, which is not a fact as a matter of fact. Let me show you quickly how Congolese power is composed, who hosts what important posts. People around Tshisekedi, but they, I mean the government, the Prime Minister. Okay, Prime Minister, Madame Judith Suminwa, she's not from Kasai. But Lekebun from Kasai. None of those important people, none of them is from Kasai. Let's go to top institution in DRC, but the Prime Minister, the Speaker of Parliament, and the Speaker of the Senate. None of them is from Kasai. I don't know where President Mbeki got that from. Of course, obviously, it can only come from Kabila. Folks, I would like to give you some revelation for you to understand that Thabo Mbeki, Kagame, Kabila are in an unholy alliance against Congo sovereignty. That was it should be known, because Congo, with the potential that it has in terms of mineral resources, everyone envy to get a glimpse of that so that they can get rich. Mbeki and others, they've benefited so much from the Congo, they want let go. Why they don't want to know is this. Since the infamous Sun City dialogue, you remember the time of dialogue of Sun City, Thabo Mbeki has quietly benefited from Congolese crisis, thanks to his alliance with Joseph Kabila and the smuggling empire built by Paul Kagame. Together, they carved up mining sectors and controlled resources flow, the chain of supply, the supply chain, the control, and all while people of the Congo are suffering. We know as a fact that was on the ground. It's about this mostly. The natural resources that Congo has, the billions in terms of value. Whatever Mbeki is saying, President Mbeki is saying, I believe now, is being taught to him by Joseph Kabila. Now, in 2025, the playbook has changed. They don't have the card. They can't control the opinion, public opinion, with the presence of social media. We need to stand against all those false allegations. It doesn't matter who it's coming from. Mbeki also Kabila in Johannesburg, as you remember, South Africa. It also gave him more publicity. That was not just a diplomatic visit for a former president, but it's like kind of a war council. What they meet in Johannesburg, we see on the table, there was Thabo Mbeki, there was Kabila's family members, Zoe, his younger brother, all those people around him, and a network of news very famous in South Africa, Sophie Mkwena, who's a chief African analyst. Whatever says stand. She's the one that is misleading, unfortunately, the narrative, the people of South Africa. My friends, Sibariami, Bazalwane, you need to understand that President Mbeki, Kamba Manga, Una Manga, those are false allegations that go not stand. I try myself to dig a little bit of my little vocabulary in Zulu to talk to you, people of South Africa, to understand the path that your president is taking right now. It's a war council. It's not something diplomatic advice or whatever PR campaign. No. For what goal is doing that? To maintain impunity, sabotage reforms, and derail international support for Congo's liberation. These are former head of states who can see Mbeki, Obasanjo, all people around, all those that were appointed by African Union and those outside the African Union are trying to intervene, because I don't understand. Mbeki is not part of the panel. There was Kalema Mutlante who was appointed, but instead we see President Masisi of Botswana who was at the meeting in Lomé, Togo last week. Folks, how do they operate? I need to break it down to you. That's what I'm saying. If we're diving down, I need to break it down to you. How are they operating? They manipulate the legacy. It's very important. Folks, they weaponize Mbeki former presidential status to broadcast blameless claims, divert attention, pollutes the global narrative with stage concerns and false equivalence and allegation that will tell you Banyamurengo were there before, they're part of the Congo, this solution. No, all that is a part of trying to pollute global narrative. They're trying to stage concerns that are false to bring them to reality. Since who's saying that is a former South African president, they are using his former presidential status to broadcast all those blameless claims. Let's be clear, folks. Let's be clear. This is not a statementship. No. This is a simple collusion. Mbeki has gone against the Congo because of what? Because of what Congo is in its underground, its mineral resources. Kabila, Mbeki, Kagame, they represent a failed past, clinging to relevance, not for justice, not for peace, but for protection of their private interests and continue exploitation of the Congolese people. They want silence. They don't want us to know. No. They don't want us to know. They want to keep us in the dark forever. But the new generation sees it clearly. Our children that were born in a country that communicates in the way that they do. Because Congo is a French-speaking country, and most of what Mbeki and Kabila are doing is going to spread in the country that's speaking English. So we're trying to rise up now to stand to bring awareness. People need to know. No one can be fooled this time around. People of the Congo are no longer passive spectators. They know who sold their country and who continue selling it. And they know who's standing up to defend it. They didn't forget about it. We know. As a matter of fact, we only think that in all, President Mbeki has been brainwashed. They wash his brain and start thinking it for him like a program computer to say stuff about Banyamulenge, things that does not control. And then Congolese are ready to defend their country no matter the price. They are ready to stand to whoever trying to clinch to power in the shadow. We understand what's going on. You, the like of Kagame, Kabila, and Mbeki, your time is running out. Understand? The world is watching you, and history will keep the record. The receipt will be kept in history. Folks, that was me bringing you this part of Mbeki's crap, lie, false allegation to try to derail whatever is going on, whatever is taking place on the global world. Let's listen to exit.
That's part of the problem. When the government in Kinshasa is hostile to the Banyamulenge in the Eastern Congo because they are Rwandan speaking, these are Congolese. Or take a posture like the one they are taking now about President Kabila. As you know, Joseph Kabila comes from Katanga.
Katanga region.
He comes from the Katanga region. You take a position in Kinshasa, you say, he's a traitor, he's supporting the M23, we will punish him. The whole population of Katanga is going to be against that government in Kinshasa.
That's false, that's wrong. No one in Katanga stood against Kinshasa, whatever's going on. Sama Lukonde, the man in charge of the Senate, the person who decided with the senators to remove Kabila immunity from public prosecution. Kabila today, he will be judged because Sama Lukonde, one of the guys, the top guy in the Congo, is from Katanga. We have prominent people from Katanga today that's in power and nothing is going on. You understand? Whatever is happening in Kabila today in Katanga is done by Katangese themselves. People from Katanga. So folks, that was me, Blaise Mukenge. I tried to share a little bit with you about the false allegation given by President Mbeki, a former South African president whose name, whose former presidential status is being used to broadcast false false or baseless claims, or to divert attention or to pollute global narrative against about what's going in the Congo. I know the massa in it, even for Kagame of Rwanda, who's the main manipulator. Folks, I wish you a very good day. Until we meet again. Bye. That was Blaze MK.